What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this Anfield Agenda preview. I'm joined by Stephen, who you might know as Esteemed Kompany, to give us a Manchester City perspective on the game. Stephen, it's been a minute, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm tired. A lot of big games recently. I'm good, and it's good to be chatting to you as well, man. It's been a while. Are you okay? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm enjoying having football back. The hardest part of the entire lockdown and COVID thing for me was the months where we had no football. I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice to be back. I've missed it. Going to the games again as well. On a personal level, it's good going because no one had anything to do with them other than watch football videos for a year and a half. So I went back to when I went to the game the other day, I was like, oh, it's Stephen, isn't it, from the YouTube? I was like, oh, it's nice that actually. So that was the one positive of it from me, that people had just watched more videos. So it was a nice element of that for me. But I missed football. I missed it so much, mate. I missed it so much.
And then we get reminded as soon as we come back that there's 3 international breaks, and we have another one coming up now at the end of this
Didn't
week.
miss that. Didn't miss that.
Going into this game, and we'll get stuck into it as soon as I do the obligatory read, but it's one of these that you don't want to lose. You don't want to drop points going into an international break because it's a long 2 weeks in between games, and it's happened to me a few times to support Liverpool. But look, ladies and gentlemen, football is back. Delighted to say I'm joined by Stephen, but we're also joined by our friends at Manscaped.com. They're here with a masterclass of male grooming to get you ready for the season ahead. Join the 2 million other men worldwide who use Manscaped daily, and you can get 20% off and free shipping of the Performance Package 4.0 by using our discount code WFM20. You know the spiel at this point, ladies and gentlemen. You get the Lawnmower 4.0, you get the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the 2 ball formulation. Stephen, who would have thought that we need a ball deodorant, mate? I didn't know I needed a ball deodorant.
I didn't know.
Did you know
I say
it?
those stuff would do a job on this, though, wouldn't they? They'd do a job on this. I need a shave right now, so
I'll be honest with you, mate. When I got my Manscaped product, my missus nicked it immediately, just robbed it, and she's been using it. So, ladies, I can give you some advice from my wife says it works. I'll take her heed. But look, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com by using our discount code WFM20. Right, Stephen, I want to have a quick chat around Pep Guardiola's decision, I suppose, not to bring in a centre forward. It's been a big topic that's been discussed around Manchester City. I'd seen Rio Ferdinand and Michael Owen discussing that on BT the other night, and I actually thought it was a very good conversation. Michael Owen believes that Pep Guardiola is probably somewhat happy to have not brought in an out-and-out 9. It's not a player that, like Klopp, I wouldn't think of a Coutinho-type player with Klopp as somebody who Klopp would bring in. So how do you feel about the fact that you've got this false 9 situation going on?
I'm going to have to disagree with Michael Owen who said that, because Pep wasn't happy that we didn't bring a striker. Apparently, he was quite fuming, actually. So, it was Pep that was really pushing for Kane, more than Manchester City, allegedly, because he was just he was, and essentially what I personally heard, and people that have to believe they don't want to, is that City were more like, we kind of fancy a project striker as opposed to the £150 million one, but because he was Pep, they were like, yeah, we'll try and get him for you. So I think everyone knew City wanted a striker in the summer, and we made a pig's ear of it, unfortunately. Like, Spurs not answering the phone for ages, and literally didn't happen, apparently, and City hanging around waiting for them to start talking to us, and that never happened, and then that never happened. So I think, unfortunately, we did want a striker. I mean, what I will say, Guardiola obviously put on a brave face saying, oh, I'm happy with the squad I've got and all that, and he's probably slightly true, and I'm sure he is happy with the squad he's got because it's really good, but overall, it's the only real and a notable market, I would say, against this squad, that we don't have that option, that we don't have that recognised number 9. We've got some kind of like fudged fixes. We could play Ferran Torres there, and he's learning that role quite well, but he's not what we've been used to. He's not Aguero or whatever. He's definitely not Harry Kane, and Gabriel Jesus he seems to have found a new position as a winger, which I think he looks more comfortable in general. I think he's done that as well for Brazil as well in the past. So, I mean, I think City wanted a striker. I think we just kind of messed it up, unfortunately, and didn't get the guy that we want.
Yeah, look, you did bring in Jack Grealish, who's one hell of a sign, and I won't lie. I mean, I don't think he's, in my opinion, I don't get the price tag. I don't think he's quite that high, but that's irrelevant when you're a fan. At the end of the day,
he's not 100 million yet. I think you agree. I think we've signed him to be a 100 million player as opposed to being a 100 million player. I think Guardiola said it afterwards. He said, look, he's 20, when he signed him, he said he's 25 years old. That's one of the reasons we signed him. And I think the idea is that they hope in 5 years' time, everyone goes, yeah, they got £100 million of value out of him. And he's not quite that yet, but there's a Manchester City and English tax, I guess, in general with Jack Grealish. And his output statistically over the past few years has been sensational. It really has. He's one of the most creative players in Europe, and even while he was at Villa. So obviously he's got a lot to learn yet to get to our level. Definitely a little bit overpriced, as most players are these days. But I think he'll do really, really well. But I think with most players like that, when you come to Manchester City, especially attackers, they always need a little bit of time. With Sane, Bernardo, Mahrez, they all sat on the bench for a while when they first joined, and we know how good they all got. So I think Grealish, he's playing actually, not on the bench as much as they were, but he's definitely got a lot to learn still, I reckon. But he'll get there. I'm not concerned at all.
I kind of liken it to when you guys bought Raheem Sterling from us. At the time, the price tag was mentioned quite a lot, but you look back at it now and you just think, well, he turned out to be quite good value, actually, for the money that was paid.
Scored over 100 goals for us. He scored loads. It's been great.
How have you found the start of the league campaign this season? I mean, for me, I think it's going to be Liverpool, City, Chelsea, maybe United top four. I don't see anybody really breaking into that. But there's a whole cluster of teams now on 13 points just behind us. And I was hugely impressed with your performance against Chelsea last weekend. I thought you absolutely taught them a lesson.
That was the performance of the season by any team so far. And I don't think that's even a Manchester City bias. I think it was just nothing short of sensational. Limiting the European champions to not a single shot on target at their own ground, that's just ridiculous. It's genuinely ridiculous. And to be honest, the start of the season, it's been really weird, actually. It's been a proper mixed bag, like in terms of battering a couple of teams, the performance against Chelsea, which is sensational. And then, of course, at the start of the season, we lost against Spurs. I felt like that game came too early for us, unfortunately. We just weren't ready. We had several players out that would feasibly started, and we had a really lacklustre performance in the league before the Chelsea game against Southampton. But so far, I mean, I'm looking at the table, but 1 point off you guys. Obviously, this game is massive, for City against you guys, and likewise for you versus us. But we're at a situation now where, presuming, I'm hoping, from my perspective, Man City get a decent result against you guys. If we do, all of a sudden, we're in touching distance of you at the top of the table, having played Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, Leicester already, after 7 games. That's a really, really, especially away from home as well, that's a really, really good position for Manchester City to be in, because they are some of the toughest fixtures of the season. And if we're already in a good nick after that, then that's great for us, especially given the fact that United is at the start of November as well. So well into the front half of the season, we could have played all our big away games. So I'm feeling really confident right now. And I mean, there wouldn't be a fan alive who wouldn't feel confident after witnessing their team and do what they did to Chelsea. Midweek we were a bit unlucky. We were the better team against PSG, and I'm not just saying that statistically. It was clear as well. But PSG took the chances, and we didn't really. So I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good about the start of the season. Slow start initially. Fitness, but players getting back now and it's looking good.
Any questions around the likes of the form of Bernardo Silva? Players like that don't really seem to be hitting the heights perhaps that he once was.
But to be honest, man, Bernardo was man of the match against Chelsea, so he was sensational. He out Kante'd N'Golo Kante, which is impressive. And Southampton game he was quiet, but Chelsea he was absolutely fantastic. I mean, he was just everywhere. And in terms of form, I'm trying to think of someone who's not really played well so far. Gundogan was a bit quiet. Now he's injured, so I guess he won't play. Sterling's the one who's probably been most notably out of form for us, unfortunately. I mean Sterling's had a relatively difficult time as of late for whatever reason. He's really struggling to find what made him so threatening in terms of his movement's still there, but his touch has become really heavy. He's really pausing, really hesitating, and he's not playing with the same instinctive brilliance that he had at his very best. So he, to me, is the biggest concern, especially given the fact that he's got less than 2 years left in his contract now. So when he gets to the summer, if he hasn't signed the contract, and right now it seems to be quiet on that front, we're looking at one of the biggest attackers in world football potentially leaving on a free in a year. So that's the concern for me. But everyone else was exceptional against Chelsea. So I'm hoping they take that into this game.
Before we get stuck into the game against Liverpool, I just want to talk about a goalkeeper of yours that is on loan at Portsmouth, Irish international Gavin Banzunu.
Man.
My God, Stephen, what a keeper!
The boy good, isn't he? He's good. He's really good. He's just probably never going to play for Manchester City, not in a bad way, just because Ederson is Ederson is young, still in terms of goalkeeper. How old is Ederson? Let me just quickly Google. I think he's like 27, 28 or something like that. Ederson he's 28, yeah, he just turned 28. So Bazunu's fantastic. We signed him, I can't remember when we signed him, but we signed him when he was 16 from which Irish side was it? You might remember, I'm not sure. But either way, he went on loan last season to, I can't remember who was that, and I'll just quickly search it because I know he's irate. But yeah, we got him from you got him from Shamrock Rovers, and he went on loan to Rochdale last season. Did really well. He's broken to the Irish team at 19, and yeah, he's sensational keeper. Like reflexes, and he's getting better with ball at his feet as well. So I'm hoping he just does that thing where he's loaned for a few years quite happily, and then eventually 2 years from now or whatever, he starts to challenge Ederson. But yeah, he's going to be one of your best players, I reckon, for Ireland. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, himself and Caoimhín Kelleher, we've got some good young goalkeepers coming through. It's a position actually that we've always been blessed with in Ireland as good goalkeepers.
Yeah, Shay Given, man, he was a sick keeper for a while.
Paddy Bonner, both from Donegal, both from the same neck of the woods. Yeah, it's Gavin Banzunu certainly took his chance in Stephen Kenny's side when he came in, man. He's undroppable now, as far as I'm concerned. He's a fantastic goalkeeper.
Oh, he's quality.
My heart sunk a little bit when I found out he was one of your boys. I won't lie to you, because he is.
Well, you probably never played for us. That's the annoying thing about it. But it's not annoying, but it is. It's one of those things where, as you know, as supporting Liverpool, like you have these great young players, but they've got to get ahead of world class players, and it's fucking difficult, man. So like as good as Bazunu is, Ederson is arguably the best passing goalkeeper in the world, and that matters to Guardiola. But it might not matter to the next keeper manager. So you never know. We'll see.
I wanted to get your opinion on one of our youngsters, actually, Curtis Jones, who's had a great couple of weeks. He's had a great breakthrough, 50-plus appearances already. And we've seen with Pep Guardiola, and particularly around youngsters at Manchester City, that sometimes it takes a little bit of patience before you get an opportunity. And I just wanted he's most likely, I'd say, going to start against you guys. So just your thoughts on Curtis Jones.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a Curtis Jones expert, because I'm one of those fans who usually watches my own team, and then if Liverpool United are on TV, I don't turn it on because I can't be asked. But I know a few mates, Liverpool fans, who absolutely love him. And to be honest, he's the fact that he's playing so regularly, like he's 20 in here or something like that. I think he's 20 years old or something. The fact that he's playing so well, and for what I have seen of him, he looks like he's got a bit of everything, doesn't he? Which is just genuinely really impressive. And I guess you probably need him as well to start breaking through, given the age dynamic of some of your squads, and obviously given that Wijnaldum's left as well, and Henderson's not getting any younger and so on. But yeah, man, I've not watched loads of him, but I know that he's really highly rated, and I know he's I think he's got a real chance as well, hasn't he, breaking TT like permanently? I think genuinely, because he looks, from what I've seen of him, he looks like the real deal. But this game's going to be big for him if he plays against us, because he's probably not played against many teams who keep the ball as well as Man City do in the midfield. So that'll be really interesting for him. That's a proper test, because Bernardo, Rodri, De Bruyne, and so on. That's going to be a real test of his credentials. And even if he doesn't come out on top after that, you wouldn't blame him, because he's 20 years old and these are top quality midfielders. But if he has even just a decent or good game against them, that's really impressive given his age.
It's amazing the depth of talent coming through now in the English system for Gareth Southgate in the English national team. And what stands out to me mostly is you see the likes of Foden, you see the likes of Mount, Harvey Elliott at Liverpool, these smaller, more skillful, tactically astute players that, when we were growing up, it was always the big, strong lads that were pushed through. But I think finally the coaching is waking up to see with the likes of Guardiola, who have shown the world that, you don't have to have big, strong lads. You can have small, tactical, astute players.
Oh, there's loads at City as well, genuinely. And I'm not just trying to add the City bias, but I mean, we've got young players who have been breaking records at youth level, like Liam Delap, who's Rory Delap's son, the ex-Stoke guy, and he's a striker, and he scored 27 goals in 22 games last season at Premier League 2 level. So he's a bullish striker. And I mean, the simplest comparison for him is Haaland stylistically. Obviously, I mean, he's one of those things where if he was at any other club, he would have played 20 games already, but the problem is he's at Manchester City, so it's really hard, and he's really good. And we've got a young lad called James McAtee. He scored 11 goals in 7 games so far this season as a midfielder for the EDS, so he's absolutely fantastic, just mesmerically gifted, like a young David Silva who seems to have found a goal scoring knack. And Cole Palmer's the one that's breaking through for Manchester City right now. I scored the other day against Wickham, and he's always the first one on the bench, basically. He's been on the bench a few times, and he looks a little bit like, when he plays on the right, he reminds me of Mahrez. When he plays in midfield, he reminds me of Kai Havertz, just tall, elegant, dead skillful. And to be honest, these lads, as well as the Liverpool guys, they're the first of many. It's a really good generation of young players coming through, and it's very much a situation where they're all testing each other because the level's so high. You've leveled. It's the whole cream rises to the crop thing, and it rises to the top thing. And the quality of young footballers coming through. Technically, it's similar to what Spain had a few years back. It really is that level, in my personal opinion. And it's no coincidence that England's youth teams are just winning trophies a lot because it's just a genuine, ridiculous bunch of players they've got coming through.
One thing I wanted to ask you about was how you think Pep will approach this game against Liverpool, because against Chelsea, excuse me, you guys were able to dominate possession. But one thing I think that we have in our arsenal that maybe Chelsea don't have so much is that ability to go out with a long ball to Mohamed Salah or over the top to Sadio Mane. And I'm very intrigued to see which manager overthinks it, because I think one of the two will. I think it's been the case at times when we've played each other. Yeah, well, I'm not saying that. Man. I'll leave that up to you. But
no, mate, it usually is. Final, that's the thing.
Well, the Champions League final was probably the one where I would agree with you. I think he did overthink it.
No, he does. It's one of the things where you take the rough with the smooth with people like him. He's an insanely good manager. He's one of the best in the world. But, there is a tendency, as there is with most borderline genius people, to be a little bit eccentric every now and then. And I don't think it comes from anything other than just having too much time to think. I mean, I'm hoping as a Manchester City fan, we just see an absolute repeat of what we saw against Chelsea. The fact that we played on Tuesday night and it's a Sunday game means we probably can do that, because we played a lot of players against PSG, but a few days rest, so it's not Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday for Sunday. It's a massive difference, isn't it? I'm hoping that actually it's just, that just play with the same system. I know. Obviously, no fans in the ground has helped us get over the Anfield hoodoo, but we have beat you at Anfield recently, and that part of that was built on the press. Gabriel Jesus, I remember coming on at 1-1 and had a really good game pressing from the front, and that turned around to 4-1 victory. And Foden was really good that game. Foden's better now, so I'm really, really hoping that. From my perspective as a City fan, I want to see the same team. I want to see Cancelo at left back, bobbing forward, linking up with Grealish. I want to see Kyle Walker, Diaz, Laporte together, and I want to see Rodri and Bernardo alongside in midfield, because Rodri is so composed on the ball, but strong as well as Bernardo just buzzes around like a little wasp. With De Bruyne's De Bruyne, and then Foden. It just has that quality, and Jesus has found his form. So I want to see that, basically. Grealish, Foden, Jesus as the front three interchanging and so on. And then that combative midfield of Bernardo, Rodri and De Bruyne. And I don't want to see him do anything crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I reckon because of recency bias, he'd be very tempted just to go with what he did against Chelsea. Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Sterling starts because of the pace. Especially, I think Milner's playing, isn't he? Maybe.
Yeah, it's most likely Milner or Gomez, but I would imagine it'll be James Milner.
He might be tempted, or he might be tempted to put Sterling against Gomez, or even Milner, because he's had a good games against Gomez before, won a penalty and so on, and Milner's obviously getting on a bit and stuff. But you never know with Pep. But I'm hoping he just does what he did against Chelsea, because I don't think there's any point changing the formation. Just play at our very best and hope it's enough, because I think when you're a brilliant team, that's all you ever should do, really, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. From our perspective, I think if obviously Alisson, Milner, Robertson, probably the same centre-backs as we had in midweek as well, Van Dijk and Matip, Fabinho, Henderson, Curtis Jones, and then I suppose the real question is, will he play Jota or will he play Firmino? I have a feeling he'll probably go with Firmino for the press. Mm-hmm. Because Bobby's really important to our press. And again, at home, a massive game Sunday, 4:30 p.m. kickoff. What constitutes a decent result for you guys in this one, Steve? Are you coming looking for the 3 points, or if I offered you the one now, would you take it?
No, there's only one thing that I'd be frustrated with, and not surprised, but a loss. I'd be fine with a draw. Of course I would. 4 points away in the league at Chelsea and Liverpool. I think any team should be happy with that, really. Obviously, a victory is sensational. At that point, I would go as far as saying, if we win back-to-back Premier League games against Chelsea and Liverpool away from home, I'd go as far as saying I would then be disappointed if we didn't go on to win the league. I know that's very early days, but I honestly would, because it's such a line.
I feel the same, man. I feel the same. If we beat you, I'm thinking, yeah, this is possible.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know that as well, because obviously, as well as I do, like, these games can be season-defining, and they're statements, man, and the psychological impact of what either team could do to the other, it's massive, especially for City. I mean, if City beat PSG, Chelsea and Liverpool away from home in the league in back-to-back games, there's no way the rest of the Premier League aren't going, for fuck's sake, because that's a real statement. And likewise, if Liverpool beat Man City after beating Chelsea, because City were really pressing against Chelsea, if you beat us, then It's the same level of impact for Liverpool. Everyone's like, oh God, Liverpool are really back after last season, you know. So this game it's probably the biggest game of the season so far, actually, given the additional context of Manchester City versus Chelsea. And I think that honestly really adds to the weight of this game because, you know, City are off the back of Chelsea. Liverpool are playing City off the back of Chelsea. So I think there's a lot to be said for that as well. So right now, I mean, we're going to really see potentially the Premier League winners from this. I genuinely feel it could be. Having said that, you know, you could beat us and we could beat you and it still might reverse the league because you never know because there's Etihad to come as well, of course. But we'll see, man. This to me, this game's absolutely huge, and I would genuinely be fine if we didn't lose because 1 point is fine. I just want to be. By the time we played United, I think it's November the 6th or something like that. If that game's out of the way, and we're within 3 points to the top of the Premier League, I'd be buzzing because that's United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Leicester, Spurs, Arsenal. Do we throw them into it anymore? I don't know. But all those teams have been, no. We don't fucking don't. Especially when you beat them 5-0. Let's be honest. But all those teams are out of the way, and after that, it's like you've got everyone to come back to ours, and we've played a lot of big games, and it just looks really appealing for us all of a sudden. So it's massive for us. But I'll take a draw.
Before I ask you for your prediction, I never do this, Stephen. I never, ever do this, but I just want to try and do a combined 11 for the laugh. Because I've never done it before in any stream I've ever done because I know they usually cause arguments, but
I just never agree. That's the thing, but
let's have a bash.
I mean, we're gonna disagree straight away with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, we are. That's the beauty of it.
But why wouldn't we disagree? I think you're an idiot if you didn't say Alisson. I think I'm an idiot if I didn't say Edison. So that's the point.
I'm just saying with the managers, though. I'm just saying when people say, you know, would you swap Pep or
it's horses for courses.
No, isn't it? Exactly. I think you have the right manager for your club, but we have the right manager for our club, and I wouldn't swap them.
But there's an argument to say as well that it depends on the team you picked and which manager you'd be better with it. You know, like there's certain selections of players that we could pick would be better for Klopp. And there's certain selection of players that we can pick would be better for, you know, Guardiola. I think Thiago would do a lot better under Guardiola than he did at, you know, Liverpool. I think he would do, just because of the style that we play and so on. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not going to concede Alisson, but you can say Alisson if you want to, because it's your channel.
We'll call it a draw on the keeper situation. No Trent available for us this weekend, so I'll give you Walker if you want to have Walker at right back.
Very, very. You can have Andy Robertson as well because we haven't really got a left back we got Cancelo's good, but he's not a left back, you know. So Robinson makes sense. I honestly don't think you can go from anything other than Van Dijk and Diaz because I don't think you can.
See, we're on the same
wavelength. That's fair though. It's totally fair. It's literally fair, isn't it? So like, Diaz the best defender in the Premier League last season, and Van Dijk is possibly the best defender in the Premier League. You know, if not Diaz, it's those two. It's clearly those two. So. Midfield, man.
We've got to the defence and we're all right now. See, we're into the holding midfielder role now. Now, look, obviously, I'm going to stick up for Fabinho in this position. I think he's one of the best in Europe.
I think that's probably fair as well. What I would say, Rodri's brilliant, but he's still definitely becoming brilliant as opposed to is being brilliant. If that makes sense. Like he's had a couple of brilliant games recently, but I think I'm probably happy to concede Fabinho simply because I do think the next two players are Manchester City players. I'm not just saying that. I do think Bernardo and De Bruyne is what you put there. That's because I think Curtis Jones isn't at Manchester City, or I don't think he's at the level yet of even your other midfielders. I think he's learning. And if you've got Fabinho there doing the legwork, Henderson is a runner as well, but Bernardo is more technically able, in my personal opinion, than Henderson. And I think De Bruyne is the best player in the Premier League in terms of. I
think when you have that base behind with Fabinho, you want a bit more creativity going forward, and I would concede on those.
I think Bernardo and Thingy for me, Bernardo and De Bruyne. I think that's too. City's strongest element has always been his midfield. So and to be honest, I would love Fabinho at Man City. So he would probably play a lot of games as well if he's at Manchester City. So Thiago would have been in the conversation if he'd been playing well, but he hasn't really. I don't think
he's not available. He's not fit for the weekend. He's still injured. That's a fair midfield. I think we can both be happy with that one.
It's a good midfield, man.
I've got to have Mo in there. Obviously, you can't
definitely
have Mohamed Salah in there, right hand side of the attack.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, Salah's obviously there. He's in the Premier League 11 easily. The thing is, what I would say is like another year Sterling's there, but he's not there right now. Salah's better than Mahrez, so there's no question there. We're more. I want Foden in because I think he's the best young player in the Premier League.
I think we could squeeze him on the left.
Well, I mean, that's what he played last season. I don't think he really should be there.
Squeeze him on the left because Mane's form hasn't been of his own high standards. To be honest with you,
Then
he's still scoring.
none of us are really that arsed by our middle, strikers in the middle. It's like Firmino's not in great form, is he? Mane hasn't been in great form. I mean, I'm not really
done
arsed.
all right, to be fair.
Is that it? Sorry?
Jota's done okay.
You can have him, man, because he probably play for Man City. And Ferran Torres had a good start of the season, but Jota would probably play there. So I'm fine with that. I mean, I think, to be honest, obviously, yeah, we haven't got the striker right now. We play a false nine, and I wouldn't say... I think if Jota was at Man City, he probably would be playing as that. And I think that's probably a fair conclusion as well. So I think that's a really good side, that, basically. Obviously, we won't agree on the keeper, but then... I mean, for what I would say, by the way, is I know going back, Trent will be there. I mean, I'm obviously going to choose Walker. I think Walker's the best defensive fullback in world football, defensive one in terms of in terms of his pace and so on. But then what I would say as well, Walker behind Salah is really useful because Walker's obviously just exceptionally good defensively, and Salah likes to stay forward, doesn't he? He likes to attack and so on. And I think what Trent brings to Liverpool isn't quite as required when you've got De Bruyne and Bernardo, who are very different players to what Liverpool have in centre midfield. I think so. Either way, that's a
good team.
Quality team.
To be fair to Salah, he does
win the
track
league,
back quite
team.
a bit. It would.
Yeah.
So what have we gone with? We've gone for a wash on the goalkeeper. We'll give him a half each. We've got Walker at right back, Robbo at left back, Van Dijk and Diaz. Then we've got Fabinho, De Bruyne. Who do we go for? Bernardo Silva. Then Mohamed Salah, Jota through the centre, and Phil Foden. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah,
see,
I mean, I could interchange Jota or Grealish or whatever, but I mean, I'm fine with that. I think that's a really good side, and that would win the league. Simple as that, really. I mean, I'd be interested to see which manager did better with that. I honestly would do. I wouldn't honestly know because, I just don't know. Either way, it's a fucking good team. It's a good team.
It is a good team. Look, Steve, before I let you go, and it's been great to catch up with you, by the way. It's been too long. Give us a prediction, score prediction for the weekend.
Enemy territory. Now, I'll probably say a draw. I'll take a draw as well. I'm going to say a good draw, though. A good fun draw, like 2-2. I'm going to say 2-2. I usually go for tight games, but I reckon they'll be like just, 2-2.
My head probably agrees with you, to be honest, on a 1-1, 2-2 draw. But, I got to be bold. We're at home. I want us to get to 3 points. So I got to go mad and go 3-2. I hope it's one of those type of games. Do you remember the good old days when we used to have just score fest?
Yeah. Well, they always end up in your favour. So I'm hoping that happens. But especially at Anfield, this could genuinely... The thing is, I always say, when you've got teams of the best teams in the world, in my opinion, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, PSG, Bayern. I mean, if any of those teams play at their very best, they will beat the other. Because the performance at your very best is rare. Most teams can play very good, but all you need is 1 or 2 players to have a bad day. But if any of those teams, all 11 players turn up, they will beat the other. And I think that's how it is. When City played PSG the other day, about 7 or 8 of them turned up, but hardly anyone turned up for PSG apart from Messi. Just did his Messi thing, and that was enough for them to beat us because that moment of quality.
That was prime Messi, wasn't it? That was
it was ridiculous. And it's the same. Like if all the City's players don't turn up, even if we play very good, Salah could just do what Messi did, and it's the same the other way around. If Foden could put it in the top corner as well, something like that. So you just never fucking know because it's like they've both got too much quality, and you could play that game 10 times and it'd be 10 different results probably, in terms of like just which way to go. So it's gonna come down to, I know it sounds really cliched, but just genuinely who really turns up, and there's not much the managers could do, I don't think, in that instance. They'll put the players out there, and it could be that one of them just slips over at one point and that's the game's over. It could be as simple as that, couldn't it?
It is fine margins. We've seen posts, we've seen balls over the line by an inch, not over the line by an inch. I mean, you're right, they've been decided by hair's breadth on many occasions. Stephen, what have you got coming up? Where can people find you? What have you got coming up on Esteemed Kompany?
I've been paying attention to the chat. I love it. It's funny. If anyone wants to go and follow me, Esteemed Kompany with a K. It's a pun based on the saying in Esteemed Kompany. Man City channel, of course. If you're a Liverpool fan, you might not give a shit. But if you want to go and have a watch the videos, I like to think I'm a bit of a reasonable person as far as City fans go.
I absolutely agree.
And I know I know people don't think I am. But either way, some of us City fans, we do exist. Despite the myth, we do exist. And over there, I think I've got a good community as well. It's pretty friendly. I've just got a no dickheads rule basically. I don't ban fans from other teams. Just as long as you watch and you don't be a dickhead, you can get involved in my live chat and stuff like that. So yeah,
I think That's a pretty good motto to have, Stephen. And I kind of like to be the same way. I don't like to see. Again, we'll be going back through this. I'll be having a look back over the chat, but I don't like to see. I don't.
Oh no, there's only one guy. There's only one guy. He's like, I hate this guy. He's an idiot. And like, he's always. I mean, I would expect that to be. If I didn't get that at all, I'm doing something wrong. You know, at some point, there has to be a Liverpool fan who dislikes me. Of course, there has to be, because otherwise, you know, it's fine.
I'm starting to get known as the rational Liverpool fan, Stephen. It's worrying me. I won't lie to you, mate. Me of all people, it's worrying me. I remember we first did it together. We were. It was very different, you know. I think we got mellow. Well, no, you've always been quite not kind and reserved, to be fair, but I was a little bit more.
You were more emotional, but good on you, man. It worked for you, and like, you got the audience now, so now you can be mellow. So maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to go 40
now.
More,
I'm getting old. You know what I mean? I have to chill.
I'm catching up. Steve has to be nice because he's out of court settlement. What are you on about there, El Scouse?
I have no idea what that's about.
I love it. I like the rumours. I had no idea what that meant.
There's loads of rumours. Anyway. It makes us all look badass. Do you know what I mean? There's rumours about me that makes me look far more badass than I am.
Yeah, you don't want to know what the out-of-court settlement was allegedly about. No idea. But either way, I'll pretend it's something badass, like
maybe our little settlement can be for a point at the weekend. We'll have a more amicable settlement here. For a point at the weekend, Stephen, it's always a pleasure to chat with you, mate. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. Maybe during the week after the game, we could have a little catch up and.
Jonas, man, if you want to have a chat with me as well on mine, you can do. And obviously, just
no problem,
I don't know when, so I'll message you afterwards. But I don't know when yet, because are you about on Saturday?
Yes.
Are you off? Okay, we'll give you a shout on Saturday.
I'm off Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're heading away.
Okay, so Saturday morning if you want. Let me know. Let me know the time on Saturday works. But I'm getting drunk from about 5 p.m. on Saturday. Nice. But from before that, I'm good, man. Morning would be good if you want to have a chat. So if anyone's watching, want to see what Greg says, my channel, Esteemed Kompany on Saturday. I think I've lost you, mate.
Oh, you're back in.
Has he lost me or have I lost him? I'm not sure either way. Anyone's left in the chat.
I can hear you anyway. I think we're back.
We'll end it there, man. We'll let you end it there.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to check out Esteemed Kompany. Don't forget as well, manscaped.com, WFM20 for that discount code. And we'll chat to you soon. Take care.